Holy, the past two Tokyo Revengers episodes, for me anyway, more than make up for the nonsense of how Takemichi handled the breakup once again. It's still complete nonsense, don't get it mistaken, but at the very least, this past two, it feels like just that classic season 1 greatness, and really getting into the thick of this brotherly drama. You had the fake abusive brother who continues to rule by fear. We see poor Hawkeye at the end, man. He didn't even want to, do anything, and when he finally decided, he went back to murderous ways. But then you have the amazing Mitsuya, who is the real brother in this situation, who's trying to get through, but man, without reinforcements, there's just no hope whatsoever. Though, we do see at one point in these past two episodes, it looks like Mikey and another are on their way, I would imagine, there's no way they survive elsewise, but this was a good batch of episodes, I have to say. Now, if you want to see my full live reaction to either episode 6 or 7, as I do have both available on my Patreon, so full uncut thoughts over there. I do these every single Sunday, and every other Monday, obviously, we do now a double review, and honestly, I think the formula works quite well. So, like I say, I don't like to jump to conclusions too soon. I said that in the last review, that as much as I'm upset by how things were handled with the breakup, I'm willing to see the rest of the season and the content that's coming up before I judge, did it ruin anything? And that's exactly why I like to do these now in the double review, because even though I liked both episode 6 and 7, there's potential that maybe I would have been a little iffy on episode 6, but seeing the full picture now, or at least most of the picture with episode 7, it just gives you a better idea so you don't jump to conclusions too soon, which is unfortunately what I think a lot of anime fans do, and I think we've all been there at some point in our lives. It's just a matter of getting over that and saying, alright, maybe we need to see the full thing. Is something actually cut, or was it rearranged? Is something actually ruining the story, or is it just a bit of a bump in the road? And as an example, the whole breakup was a bump in the road to me. But the actual Christmas bloodbath, that's really what it boils down to. I mean, the betrayal of the two snakes doesn't come as much of a surprise, though I still stick by saying Kisaki is one of those characters that our boy needs to befriend. I don't think simply removing him from Toman will stop the future from happening. I'm not saying he actually has to like him on a personal level, but lying to his face and making him think they're besties might be the option to go. But ultimately, to see us go from worse to okay to absolutely, did you just kill my boy? I mean, I'm not saying I expected Taiju to fight fair, but when he starts throwing nonsense in his face like, ooh, what are you doing? Is the truce off? The truce was literally, we'll let our boy join you if you never lay a hand on his sister again. She's literally bleeding out on the floor, and he had the nerve to be like, you breaking the truce, bro? It's like, no, you broke the truce, bro. What kind of nonsense? He's literally peanut brain. His brain is the size of a peanut shell, but he's so muscular like a JoJo character. That's how he's survived in this world so far. But when they started going down, Mitsuya and him, honestly, I have to admit. Now, I think there's probably more arguments to be made that if, even without someone jumping in and hitting him in the head with an iron bar, ultimately, he probably still would have lost. But is it 100% guaranteed every reality that would happen? Honestly, probably not. The fact of the matter is, we're literally seeing at the end of the latest episode, Takemichi, he's looking horrible. I can't even show what he looks like on YouTube without censoring it a lot. But the fact of the matter is, Takemichi holding out as long as he is clearly winding Taiju. So, given the fact that someone like Mitsuya, even if maybe his gut punches or side punches aren't doing too much, we do see he was getting damage on Taiju. So, in a perfect world, and the perfect reality, even if it's only 1 out of 100 times, there's a possibility he might have been able to beat him if he held out long enough. But the fact remains that this boy is such a scumbag that he needed 2 of his goons to jump and basically end it because he was getting bored. No, my boy, I think you just recognize that there's a chance you might have lost there had he continued, and honestly, I'm excited to see what they do. It's worrisome because almost everyone's basically bleeding out, and when finally it looked like Hawkeye was about to, he was there, he was finally snapping to it, the PTSD of all the abuse and fear he suffered his whole life was going away, he basically resorted back to wanting to kill him. Though in episode 6 we do get a shocking reveal that it was actually the sister all along. I've been wondering for a while, what was his reason? Was it simply he was just defending his sister? Turns out no. In the previous timelines, what would have happened had he not been warned is the sister would have killed him, and then ultimately our boy takes the blame, and through manipulation, Kisaki ends up invading Black Dragon and Toman, and we see what ultimately happens. So by basically preventing that, you start thinking, oh, there could be a hopeful change. But then you think about it, him almost getting killed there and not, like him living would just make even more of an issue. So over the course of these 2 episodes, I'm trying to figure out what is the direction they want to go. And my solution was like, okay, what if Tomana and Black Dragon just go to war? Maybe that's the only option here. And honestly, at this point, that kind of seems like the only option, let's be honest. I like how characters like Mitsuya bring up the fact that him breaking up the peace that they ended up doing a couple episodes back is a lot better than someone like Takemichi doing so, because the person who made the pact, if he breaks it, then everyone's gonna get behind that in terms of their gang. So it makes a lot more sense. I just found myself having a lot of fun, feeling like I thought I knew where things were going, and then when I thought I did, it would just blow up in my face. It was a lot of action, a lot of good family drama, and I think when you look at a character who's been so tormented, look at both brother and sister here, what their big brother does to them. I mean, the difference of how they look at him with fear or hatred in their eyes compared to someone like Mitsuya, who they light up or feel like for a brief moment have a spark of family that is actually genuine. To see what it does to them and to just have moments where my jaw was on the floor, my heart sank when I saw him get hit with that bar, wondering, is he even gonna live? I mean, it's not looking good, and truly, I don't know exactly how they end this. I really think reinforcements are the only way they get out of this alive, but I just don't see how a peaceful future can continue with someone like Taiju living. But then again, maybe Mikey will come in and beat the living hell out of him. I don't know. But were these past 2 episodes honestly some of the peak Tokyo Revengers content I remember from season 1? Absolutely. This season might have bumps along the road from time to time, but I think as a whole, when I look at season 2, I find myself still enjoying it mostly just as much as season 1. And I think the past couple of episodes are some of my favorite content I've experienced so far. I'm not saying I don't think the breakup was dumb as hell. I think the way he handled and fumbled it was a complete mess. But I do like the fact that even Takemichi, a boy who can't fight, who isn't strong, and honestly, he does cry a lot. I mean, anyone who's getting beaten the way he is would be crying just as much, if not in the fetal position. But I think even when he makes mistakes, the fact that he refuses to give up is the thing that makes him a rootable character in a show like this, because I know damn well I wouldn't be able to even continue after half of the things he's been through, and that's what makes Tokyo Revengers a really good time travel story. And hey, at least we didn't get Automichi handling the church content, because honestly, it probably would have been way worse. But thoughts and feelings yourself, either on last week's episode or this latest one, and what you hope to see going forward in Tokyo Revengers Season 2. Do let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, like I mentioned, full live reactions, both of these episodes and future episodes on my Patreon. And while you're there, you can also get a video shout-out. So today we got Kowalchuk, Darthwin Wright, and Jordan. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.